invite as many people.
Okay, so here we go. We on here now.
Okay.
Okay, y'all. I'm moving
Good morning.
Good morning.
All
right. Good. I got it. Good, y'all. Okay, y'all. You know I gotta start this up. Good morning, y'all. Happy Sunday.
Yes.
We back up in this piece.
Yes.
Okay, so y'all know I'm gonna be looking down a little bit because I gotta, talk with y'all and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So today I'm back with my sister. It's Sunday morning.
Peace, everybody.
Yeah.
It's Dana Maisha in the house.
Rolanda Wilkins. So I think I have to. Here we go. Right here. So basically, what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about a few things before. So every Sunday morning we get together and we write. We do a lot of writing.
Mm-hmm.
But before we write, we kind of talk about some of the issues that's happening in our community. And so, or in the world, period, because I feel like black folks should have an opinion of what's going on in the world. So, Dana, I'm going to let you kind of start off. I'm going to slide over there real quick so I can do some stuff on this real quick.
Okay.
But tell me first, I'm going to do that right now because I'm going to do it from here.
Okay.
So, and then I'll be right back over here. So tell me, in terms of the first one we had was about Israel.
Okay.
Number 45.
Okay. Peace, everybody. I hope that each of you are doing well, mind, body, and spirit this morning. One of our writing prompts, because we actually have a couple of them, but one of our writing prompts this morning is about what's going on in Israel. I woke up in the middle of the night last night, and those of you who know me know that I have a slight addiction to CNN. Just as slight, as lightweight. I'm trying to wean myself off of it because they end up running the same news cycles. But anyway, so I woke up in the middle of the night and I cut the TV on, and so we get London's news in the middle of the night, and we get their perspective. And so anyway, I find that Donald Trump done named Jerusalem the capital for the Jews, and I just was like, this is ridiculous. How first of all, how do we have the power? Not we, but them. But y'all know what I mean. How does he have the power to name the capital of Jerusalem? And these people have been fighting over this land since what, 2,000-3,000 years? And Roe brought up an interesting perspective about the fact that it didn't belong to near one of them.
That's what I was taught. I was taught that the real land issue in that region of the world don't belong to either one of them, but don't belong to the Palestinians and don't belong to the Jews because that's not their original area. That there was black people there first. So I think that's why, even on that subject, I really don't have an opinion about that, honestly. I feel like we got so many things happening to black people around the world and in that region of the world that
true.
I don't really care if they obliterate each other. That's just my personal opinion. I'm a loving person, but I think that has nothing to do with black people. And then those same people come to the U.S. and treat us like crap. So I don't know. I'm just not into fighting other people's battles who come here and then they treat us like we boo-boo. So, but that's just my opinion. That's just mine. And I'm also not like a Muslim, and I'm not a religious person. So I'm just so tired of religious dogma.
And you know what? I get that. I totally feel that, Queen. I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of more in awe by the nerve of, what's his name?
Donald Trump.
Right. I think I'm just more. I don't know why I keep being in awe by him. So
where does that come from in terms of when you say the nerve of him to even do something like that? Why is that a nerve of him when this is white folks' business?
Well, I guess because...
Or other people's business.
Right, other people's business, I understand that.
Just wondering.
I guess I'm just like... First of all, he does not strike me as an intelligent person. We have to give it to, no matter what we thought about our prior presidents, U.S. presidents. Each of them had a certain level of intellect. Some definitely more than others, because we know it's levels to intellect. But I don't know, he just seems like such a clown to me. And for him to not even be able to deal with the issues here in the United States, and for him to intervene over there. It's just, I mean, I get it, you know, everything with the Jews and their relationship to the Federal Reserve Bank. But it's just, I don't know. It's just like, where's his bottom at?
I don't know. So let me say this. And I get what you're saying. I love having these conversations. In all honesty, we don't know what the other presidents was like, because we had at least, God, how many presidents? At least 16 clearly presidents who were president when slavery was here, and all kind of inhumane stuff was happening to black folks. So we don't know how crazy Taft was. We don't know how crazy any of them were. So for me, it's kind of, I think Donald Trump, I think people who believe in biblical proportions or they're into holy books, they'll be talking about the jinn and the devil and all this other stuff. And then when the creator or the great spirit or whatever we call it puts his man into plan, we sitting there fighting God's plan. So I think number 45 is part of God's plan. I think we're supposed to have somebody to show us the truth, the unadulterated truth. And so I think when he does these it may seem outlandish because most of us live in the world of fantasy. You know, we would rather have a president that lie to us and say we cool and we can go smoke weed with them in the White House, and you know they like black people, and you know, but then they made all kind of laws that locked up all kind of black men, and then there's other black people fighting for this woman to be president. So it's kind of like I like it when people tell me the truth. You know, even if it hurt my feelings. I think Donald Trump is a part of the divine plan, and I know the word with divine and him in the same sentence. But when the creator has a plan, who are we? Like, it's like watching a good movie. You know that the villain in the movie has to exist, or how we gonna ever fight against whatever. You can't have a clean glass if you don't have a dirty glass. I mean, it's like all of these things. And so I'm never shocked, but I think if you're not on point and if you're not about it, you're gonna be scared boo-boo-less. Because you know you're not on your, no, I'm just saying, but when I say scared, I mean if you're not on your game. Like, that's like somebody said, oh my God, they poisoned the food. Well, yeah, you should be concerned if you don't know how to grow nothing.
Right.
But if you know how to grow your own stuff, it's like, well, we knew these people been poisoning us since we've been here, because we're like the evidence of a murder scene. That's who we are as black people. So it's like every time they look at us, all they can see is all the stuff they did in slavery and Jim Crow and the crack era, and you know, we're the witness because we're like the weeds who don't go away. So for me, and I'm not taking away from this thing with Israel, but I feel like here are two groups who sometimes can be our friends and sometimes be our enemies. You know what I mean? Right. You know, how do they get a land in Israel? And what about our land? As black folks, we got stole. Like, we don't get to have a holy land? Right. We don't get to be repatriated back to some place that you know you stole us? So you think I'm going to sit here and fight for other people's land and I don't have no land?
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm just not into being the mammy anymore. I don't do that. I know my ancestors did it because they didn't know where they were coming from or where they were going. It was a bad situation. But I think when you have knowledge, you got to apply it. Right. And I just think this is not our fight.
Right.
I think we should be at home trying to help our community and get ourselves together and get our people. I don't really give a damn what he named. We all know what that's about. This is like other people's business. And since we don't have enough strength to throw the oppressor off us where we are right now, I definitely can't be focusing on something in another place where it's not even my business. But that's just me. It ain't nobody. That's just me. I just feel like it's like one more distraction. Like, how many black people was killed last night while we was sleeping?
Right. That's
you know,
right.
How many young girls were molested or raped? You know, how many injustices have happened to black people, and we up here focusing on this idiot? Like, you know, he's really doing his job. You know, and I'm not even mad about it. I mean, I don't agree with his job. I'm not saying I agree with him doing the crazy stuff he's doing.
No, I feel
But I just feel like this man is you know, the creator. He's doing the job that the creator created for him. And I always feel like I think 45 is a lesson for us that we gonna know the struggles of our ancestors because that's the gift that he came to bring. You know, we act like our ancestors in enslavement, like it meant nothing. Most of us don't even want to admit that we mixed with these people. You know, we want to be mixed with everything else but these black Africans who built America. But, you know, I guess in some ways I can kind of understand that because hell, most of us can't even pull our pants up or keep our house clean. So I don't know how you built America if you can't just take care of yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that whatever 45 did with Israel, but I'm just saying he gonna do a lot more stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, but what stuff is he doing that affects us?
Right. Right. Well, I think the biggest thing that affects us is us.
All right now.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like I really believe wholeheartedly that we are who we've been waiting for.
All right now. I'm with you on that.
No, really, seriously. And I just feel like we also, while all of these things are going on, we also have an opportunity to really kind of stand up and kind of just try to, first of all, be the purveyors of our own culture.
Mm-hmm.
And also try to provide resources and services that we need.
I'm with you on that.
You know what I'm saying? And to be able to provide it for ourselves. And I think that we have that kind of power to do that. It's going to take a level of unity, I think, that we have not collectively ever experienced before. But it's going to take not falling out with your brother or your sister.
Hello. Come on with it, sis.
You know, we can't just cease working with people because we don't agree about something or because we have a disagreement or we fell out. No, that's the power of communication. Let's communicate about it. I think also that we need to operate on a realm, well, not on a realm, but we need to operate as if we were segregated. That's what we need to do. Because out of segregation, we built a lot of stuff. When I say we, I mean our ancestors.
I agree.
We built a lot. We had a lot of every institution we needed. We built it.
I agree.
And I think that we're gonna have to operate like that. I don't hate nobody or nothing. I don't hate other races or whatever. I'm just madly in love
with myself.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Hey, peace, brother Key. See you out there, brother. And hey, Tony Hill. Hey, sis. I was going to get some shout outs to people that's watching this.
Yeah,
so
do that. I wish I could invite people. I can't
I'm trying to figure out myself. Okay. I'm sorry. So we're trying to do both things. We're going to get this is our second time talking. I just feel like it's important to hear from black people who are for real. Mm-hmm. That's another reason why we do this. Because sometimes I don't get to hear from what black people really think, not the ones that are scripted or being paid by a network to be politically correct, but also what do everyday black folks think. So if you want to say something, chime in, so that way we can, address, you have a question, we can address it. I totally believe in that. So, because I think every group, some people say stuff like, well, we can't separate. Every group in America is like, damn, they're separated. Mm-hmm.
Look at Stockton Boulevard. Every city in America has a Chinatown. We can't be mad. Yeah. And they not mad. I don't think they mad at nobody. You don't even see them protesting or nothing. I don't think they mad at nobody. I think that they just understand that you got to do for yourself. Everything that they need, they can do it right there in their community.
So it would be, I agree with that. I feel like, but I also feel the difference between us and other groups, and I agree with you. See, this is what I know to be true. I know that black people are the first people on the planet. I already know that. I know we produced everybody on here, honestly. But I also feel like something has happened to our particular group. Because I can't really speak for Africans on the continent. That's a whole other story. But I'm talking about those of us who got thrown into the diaspora because of slavery. Not they came before Columbus. I get all that knowledge. I think that knowledge is so awesome. But I'm concerned with the group that I belong to immediately.
Right.
And so I know that my ancestors came to America in the belly of a slave ship. Yeah. So for me, I'm concerned with that group, because that's the group to which I belong ultimately. Just because I focus on myself don't mean that I'm mad at anybody else. The fact that I have to say that to you means that that's the attack on anti-blackness, even from other black people. So when it comes to racism, or whatever you want to call it, for white people, I'll just call it white supremacy. But when it's other groups or the so-called of color, I always say anti-blackness, because that's what it is. So you could be pitch blue black and hate black people, and I'll just call you like you're anti-black. So it's great we start keeping the list of y'all and leave y'all on out there. I just feel like I want to focus on the people who really want to get this right. And I just feel like, our ancestors were so powerful. If they can survive all of this, I think for us, our final battle in order to survive is the mental battle. So like when she talked about how do we love each other in spite of each other's craziness? Like, how do we do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do we, in business, we'll fall out with each other in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Or we can stop acting like we invented something. Like nobody invented all the domestic violence workshops. There's no inventor of that. Knock it off. There's no inventor of that. There's no inventor of, oh my God, I came up, with the first hair weave, backwards, twist, flip. Give me a break. This is the world. Somebody was thinking of that same idea. So I feel like once we get out of this first and only, the eyes, if you will, then I think we could probably make some progress and have a great understanding that what's happened to us and how, I'm not saying you have to be up on somebody if they sick, but it's like, how do we increase the love for each other? Because that's what I see. And we have to increase. And I work on that even myself. Even when people get on my nerves, I try to back up and be like, well, wait a minute, let me do a break because I don't want to say something that I can't take back. So I just feel like when I see number 45 doing crazy stuff like what he did with Israel, it means I have to keep working harder on my stuff. I don't get taken off. I don't really care what the man does. I just know, I remember my ancestors, they've been the people far worse than this idiot. Honestly. So for me, I just start running faster. It's kind of like, okay, we got to keep building because, what's getting ready to happen. I increase my work productivity. I don't really be over here because those same people, we got people enslaved right now in Libya. Where are the Israelis on this issue? Where are the Palestinians? Because they're Arabs too. Where are they on this? Why were they protesting in the streets before number 45 did that act to them? So,
girl, them people been fighting for generations.
No, I'm talking about for the people who are enslaved in Libya.
Oh, right.
See, where are they on that issue?
Right.
So I'm not dropping my stuff. I'm still concerned about that, still working on it. Are they concerned about what's happening in Haiti? I mean, where has been their concern for black people? So I always look at when folks like, we should just like, so what y'all been doing for us? Black folks got to start assessing stuff.
Yeah.
Before we go join other movements. Like, how is your movement? How are you doing? I travel a lot in the world, so that's what kind of like, I don't get this out of a book. I go travel to places and see what is it like for black people in this part of the world.
Tell them about the community housing in Cuba.
So they have a lot of stuff in Cuba. Like, Cuba's not perfect, so people's like, Cuba ain't perfect. Yeah, most of y'all never been there, but they do have, like, their medicine is really, I've never met so many healthy people in my life. I never met so many people of African descent that spoke more than one language outside of Africa. Okay, so it's kind of like, because they know that education and learning the language is survival. They also have polyclinics. They don't really have homelessness there because they have family houses everywhere.
Yeah, the family
houses. Yeah, they have family houses, so that way you have somewhere to go. So it don't mean that it's perfect, but here's the people who have come against the strongest government in the world, they say, and they still survived over 60-something years in the face of America. So for me, that gives me hope that we can get some stuff done, but I just can't. I think in America we get bombarded with so many things, then we can't pick one and stick to it. Or how do you address different things that's important to you but still stay on your own path? Does that make sense?
That makes a lot
So that
of sense.
takes me into this. Let's look at these plans for 2018.
Oh, girl.
What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, God, I want to do so much, y'all. It's so many different things that I want to do, but basically a lot of the things take collaborations. One of the things in 2018, I hope to have built another business.
All right.
Should we talk about Queen's Publishing?
Yeah, we can be like, yeah. My voice is going high like, God. They can have my voice up. Sorry, y'all. So, yeah, let's talk about that.
So, yeah, in 2018, me and my sis here, we hope to launch a publishing company called Queen's Publishing. And the idea of that is that we want to collaborate with other people, but we definitely want to control our own narratives. We want to make sure that we leave a record, an accurate accounting of the building that's going on right now for generations to come. And yeah, we're serious about this this writing and this record keeping. Basically, if we really want to put put a phrase to it, record keeping. What are your thoughts about it, Glenn?
I think I love everything you said. Ditto, ditto, ditto. The other part is that the reason why I know I wanted to do the Queen's Publishing, with you. I think there's so many stories that we have to tell ourselves. I feel like we have to give, and we publish whoever we need to, but my main focus is always women, because I think black women sacrifice the most but get the least. And I think there's been people who've done extraordinary things and we never get to hear their stories. So some of us will be, looking at reality TV. Like, for instance, I was looking at a comedy thing, and we still on this narrative like all white people are rich, all white people have it good, and all black people are ghetto. Well, we know that's not true.
Right.
But that's because we allow that to be, to set the precedence for who we are as black people. Black people are not monolithic. We're so diverse. I wanted to help people to publish their stories, their journeys, their trips, their ideas, their history, so that young people can read about us, you know, and what we've done, so we would leave a print here.
Absolutely.
A newer print of, you know, I've known black folks who traveled the world. They weren't in the military. They ran their own businesses. I mean, some of the backdrop, the stuff was like, wow, I didn't know that we did stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I want to leave those prints, you know, through publishing.
Right.
And I can really see that.
Right.
You know, if you want to just publish a children's book, I've seen some beautiful children's books really aiming at black people or black young people to tell their stories or to bring some of our folklore to life. Like, that's beautiful.
Right.
You know, I love love stories. I love it when I see how black people fall in love and remain in love with each other.
Oh, yeah,
without that piece of, you know, how can I say this? I love it when you can see, it's kind of like right now, some of us are really pissed off at Serena Williams. I'm not. And,
what happened with Serena Williams?
Was Serena? Is it Serena? Yeah, Serena. And then the Megan actress. I didn't even know she was black, so no disrespect to nobody, but I didn't know. So I've heard all these people say, this is a fairy tale, and this, they try to push this on us. For me, what I see is that here, I don't know about the Megan, because I don't know her, but I know with Serena, I think she was going for what she really loved. And I'm not saying that people just fall in love and they don't have no control over the color. I think that's a bunch of BS. That's just my personal opinion. But I do think when people are on a journey and they have dated a lot of people or dated a few brothers and it don't work out, and then they find this white dude and he treats them a certain way, and she don't have to go through, you're a black woman, so you're supposed to support me as a black man, you're supposed to protect me. Maybe she found someone who treated her like a queen and that worked for her. I don't know her journey. I don't know what it's like to be her. She shouldn't have to sacrifice her happiness so you can feel some kind of way. And so I think that I would love to see more of that with black people, because I think that exists between a black man and a black woman, but most times we don't see that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not dissing Serena, and I just seen people write such ugly stuff about her and being with this white man and calling her a bedwench, and I'm like, you know, y'all need to really get a damn life.
I think that that's what we should also do, is make sure that we highlight and bring focus to black love, though.
I agree.
I really do, because there are people out here that's in love, and honestly, if you've been with somebody 25, 30 years, you ain't feeling in love every day, because you're not even in love with yourself every single day. But you know, there's people out here that's trying to rock it out, you know, and I'm gonna tell you, I was a part of this anthropology group. If I didn't need money or what, I love anthropology, because I always like to know why and get down to the root and dig in the rock, and you know, but it ain't no money in that. But anyway, so I always like to understand why. But anyway, anthropologists, they said that how they measure the decline or incline of a civilization is through marriage. And me and my anthropology teacher, we would go back and forth, because in my mind, marriage was for love. Like, oh, I love him, you know. But she would always contend that marriage was for legacy building. She would and you know, and it took me a while to get that, but it was for legacy building, and it was for community building, and it took me a while to get that. But Dr. Renuko, am I saying
Renuko Rashidi?
Yes. Renuko Rashidi, he helped me see that. That is true. That the anthropology teacher was right. I wish if I saw her again, I would give her a hug and tell her, you know what, I get it now. I get it. So anyway, why did I go off on that tangent?
You were talking about anthropology and how marrying for love helps you to build civilizations and communities, right? Isn't that what you just said?
Right, but not necessarily. Marriage is not necessarily for love. Of course, you need to love the person and stuff like that. But
or grow to love them. Or that's what old people used to say.
Right, or grow to love them. But I think that we need to look at marriage for really what it really is, as far as when we talk about community building and legacy building.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think that, I'm in love with love.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I'm in love with love, right? Y'all. Yeah. I mean, I haven't had a lot of relationships, so let me not try to act like...
Let
me not try to act like I I know, but I am in love with love. Yeah, definitely I am.
So let me give some shout outs. Hey, Sister Yolanda, how you doing? Sister Shantae, sorry, I'm going to mess anybody's names up. How you doing, sister? I ain't talked to her for a minute. Brother Joseph, Yusuf White, how you doing, dear
Peace,
brother?
King.
Brother Keon, oh, he always talks about that.
Peace,
I love that
Brother
kid.
Keon.
Let me see who we got on here. We also got brother, hey, Sister Jenny. I'm sorry, I'm trying to excuse me.
I wish I could see this.
Yeah, I think if you go to your question, you'll see it. Let me see. Brother Ramsey, that's my brother right there. How you doing, Brother Ramsey? That's Brother Nasir's brother. Brother Ramsey.
Peace, King.
Wow, Brother Michael's on here.
Brother Michael
Sister Mariana,
Mama.
hey now. So this is the other thing I want to ask y'all. Hey, Miss Rowe. Hey, Shauna. Got your name right. I want to ask y'all this. So I think some of my fire that I possess, most of the times I'm a very peaceful person. I'm peaceful anyway. But I would try to woosah, because I feel like if I don't woosah, I probably would explode. Because when you come from under such great teachers, I had a chance to meet Dr. Clark and hear him lecture. See, I grew up with those kind of people. It's not. I did invite you though, because I see your Dana's watching, so I knew you was on there. So, but when you come up under those kind of great teachers, Dr. Ben, Dr. Ben, Dr. Collins. I mean, I've studied not just studied, but actually got a chance to meet and work with some of these great people. What do you do with all of that learning? How do you apply it in your life? So I'm always amazed when I meet people who was around in the 80s and 90s when we had this Black Power movement, like the resurgence that happens every 25 years or so. And then you get older, and I get that. You go to work, you have kids, you have grandkids, whatever. Where does that fire go? Because I meet a lot of young people, and when they tell me who some of their parents and grandparents are, and I remember them from different movements, and they don't know certain things, I wonder when you learn great things, did you just put it away? Was it not serious for you? Was you just doing it because everybody, was it a fad to you? And you were doing it because everybody else was doing it? So I just kind of wonder, what do people do with the knowledge that they learned, or being around all the wise people they've been around? What do you really do with that knowledge? Because that's what fuels me when I'm talking to young people. That 19-year-old, that 20-year-old me pops up out of me, and that's what I start giving the kids. Like when I was young, I remember listening to Public Enemy. I remember listening to Poor Righteous Teachers. I remember listening to the X-Clan. I remember listening to artists who spoke the truth and made me feel empowered. I remember AG. I remember Eric B. and Rakim. I remember Guru.
Oh yeah,
I remember all of them. But they also said things that spoke to the God or the goddess in you. Like they made you walk that truth. And so for me, even though I got older and had to do things and blah blah blah, I never forgot that part. That's what comes out of me. I never, no disrespect, I never was really into like NWA and stuff like that. It just wasn't, that wasn't my vibe. I didn't diss people who did, but it just never spoke to me. Where I was like, oh my God, that's, I don't know. It's kind of when somebody plants something in you, it's hard for you to be a weed when you thought you were an oak tree.
Right.
Like I can't be
I
a weed.
totally get that.
Because I'm an oak tree. Like I'm
I totally
you know what I'm saying?
that,
And so I just wonder, for people who are age, what did you do with that knowledge that you got from such great teachers that you walked the planet when they were here?
I think that a lot of us execute now. Like just the way we move. Like it's just certain things that we just won't do. No disrespect to other people that do other things, but it's just like, for sure, it's just certain things that that we just won't do. And so and there's certain things that we gravitate towards. So that's why when we hear power, or when we hear truth, our spirit automatically responds. Because have you ever been in a room full of people and they may say something, and in your spirit it doesn't ring true to your spirit?
Girl, that's all the time. Especially if you go to political meetings.
Right. And it's, you just kind of keep it to yourself. You just make a thought. I know for me, because you can feel somebody's spirit. I don't care what nobody say. You can feel it. And so, not to say that the person is a bad person, but maybe whatever you said, it just doesn't ring true to me for my spirit. And so, I think how we respond to the knowledge that we have and that we've been embodied with, and that in some cases born with, I think it speaks to how we move on the planet and what we gravitate towards.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That totally makes sense. I just wonder. I know there was a lot of us during that time, in the 90s in particular, and I also feel like I just wonder how people execute. Like, I know one of the lessons I learned from a dear teacher was, even when your people get on your nerves, practice having more tolerance for them than you give to other people who don't like you. Did you get that? So sometimes, like, for instance, we was in this room right now, and say if there was some white people in here, I'm just saying, liberal or whatever, we'll be tiptoeing around them, trying to make sure they feel included. But when it comes to other black people, we don't care if we crush them. And we probably should be doing the opposite, or at least giving them the same consideration that you give to people who don't even give a damn about you. And I watch us do that as black folks. It's like we'll try to make sure that the white people feel comfortable, but at the expense of the black people feeling not comfortable and that or uncomfortable. So I just feel like, wow, like I learned that from those great teachers. I learned how to get up and walk away from people when I disagree with them, but not feel like I'm gonna have to jump on them or disrespect them. Like I learned about a united front, but still having the opportunity to say what our truths are to the person. No, I mean I have to like diss them, but there is something about being really caring about seeing your sister and your brother as yourself. You know, because all of us are at different stages of development. Right. But I really learned some real key things from my ancestors, from my elders, from older people. I learned a lot from young people. I work with them all the time. But I also, like, I don't just learn it, but I apply it.
Right.
It's not like I'm not a fad person. I'm just not going to do something because everybody else is doing it.
Right.
I think I've always been the person who went against the grain, so I never got sucked into reality or fake TV. I just never got sucked into that. I never really wanted to wear hookah boots because I don't know Little Kim had them on. I just never got. I didn't diss people. I never bought a Beyonce album. Nothing against Beyonce. I just thought her image has always been destructive for black girls. So I never bought an album. Never dissed her. I don't know what she really do. She probably do some good stuff for her community. I'm just saying I can't buy an album. Now that I learned from Jewish people. Never to support people who have your destruction in mind. You know, and our warfare is more like mental warfare. Yeah. I mean, some people come at you full throttle. That's why I think 45 is here. But most of the stuff with black folks have been subliminal. Like we talked about subliminal messages yesterday in my class, and how you be like, that don't affect me. And then you come out with some green hair, but you seen Nicki Minaj with green hair. That's called subliminal. You didn't just come up with green hair on your own. Right. So I remember those lessons growing up from people that elders that I really respect. And I was like, I can see that. Like it's like the movie They Live. It's like having these glasses on. I think that's more like the third eye story that you get. You got to have that third eye working. Right. And not to be. I'm not hard on other people. You know, I try to also increase that love when I'm dealing with really dead people. Or when I'm dealing with so-called conscious people who are anti-black. But, you know, they want to talk about... Bro.
You have to break that down. Okay, so what do you mean conscious people?
Conscious people that
are anti-black. You don't have to break that down for me.
Well, we have a lot of conscious people who know that black folks are original people and all these great things about us. But then they do a lot of anti-black stuff. Like making sure all the leadership is light-skinned. I've had that experience before. I've had that experience before. I you know, trying to say stuff like, it's just not about your skin color. Then why are all the people light-skinned?
I got you.
Or it's like looking at white people, some white people, when they do a lot of racist stuff, we can see it clearly. But when black people do anti-black stuff, we act like, that's like being black. No, that's not. That was just as offensive if a white person did it. So there's like parts of the so-called conscious community that are very color-struck, that are very racist. You know, I'll give you a good example. And I mean, it's so many examples. Just look at who people marry. Look at the leadership. You know, we'll say stuff like, well, they have to look pleasing, or, you know, we want everybody to feel comfortable, you know, or just look at it. Go back, look at your stuff. The blackest people I've ever seen in the movement was Marcus Garvey's movement. I looked at a lot of tapes. I researched him a lot. I follow him a lot. And definitely as a black person, I probably would have felt comfortable. It don't matter that the person's not my complexion. I don't really care because I know I come from the original people. So you can't like disconnect like dark skin from leadership because you think that white people would be more comfortable if the person was light skinned. Let's just be honest.
Okay,
So these are in conscious. I'm not talking about dead and stinking Negroes, as my uncle would say. I'm
Bro.
talking about, that's what my uncle would say. I'm talking about blessed memory Uncle Stanley. But I'm talking about conscious people.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost feel really offended when people say stuff like, well, the person had to come looking like a white person. That meant that my ancestors wouldn't have followed him, because we don't necessarily love a white man like that. Like, we didn't think he was God. And so it's kind of like, maybe you're speaking for your ancestors. I love a I statement, but you can't say that about mine, because we didn't roll like that.
Okay.
So I just feel like we got to really shake off our own anti-blackness. And it is, and I'm not hating on light-skinned people, I'm really not, but I just know even on black TV, you'll see people, look at all the subliminal stuff. Look at Jumping the Broom. You know, the ghetto mama was dark-skinned. Then we had, I love me some Angela Bassett, but she had to be like more like a white woman and all that kind. It's there. Look at Martin. Gina was married and had a husband. Pam was with the BBBs. Look at these contracts.
Yeah, why did they treat Pam like
look
that?
Look here. But that's all the time. That's all the time. And so, it reminded me of a book I read called Mulattoes, Mammies, and Coons, or something like that. And it talked about these stereotypes. And this is when white people were doing it to us, but now I see us do it and casting our own films and stuff like that. So I feel like we don't want, and then we see it when our kids are still saying team light skin, team dark skin. They didn't just come up with that in 2017. We've been doing this. I remember watching hip hop videos when I stopped messing with Big Daddy Kane, and we talked about how the girl got to be a red bone. I was like, yeah, nigga, I'm not really buying your album. I won't watch nothing else of yours. So I remember that, because words have power, and they seep into you, and then you start reacting to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never understood the concept of people wanting to bleach their skin. I just never understood that. But what I do understand is the psyche, when you feel like you want to be treated a certain way, and when you see people looking a certain way, getting certain treatment, you start to follow suit if you're not strong enough, or if nobody taught you to be grounded and be proud of who you are. So that's a hard topic to have with black folks, colorism, because some of us are very guilty of that. Even when we talk, we still describing people like fair skin. What the hell is that? There's no color called fair. And if somebody's fair, then somebody must be unfair. Hell, what the hell is good hair?
All right, Dr. Collett.
Hey, that's one of my teachers.
All right, Dr.
But I'm just saying, I was taught that good hair is any hair on top of your head, because some people can't grow no hair. So I just feel like, even in the so-called conscious community, because I've had people be in those movements, and then they come out and they kind of done. And I always say, well, you can't be done on the whole movement. Maybe the Negroes you was dealing with, but you're supposed to get the information and then go out and apply it. That's what I had to do. So I love people, but you just can't use me like that. Right. Like, it don't really go down like that. So I know I just kind of went all through the woods and everything else.
No, I got you,
because
I kind of really wanted you to break that down, because when you said, I'm like, okay, conscious people not loving black people, how do you do that? But okay, I got you. Yeah. I got you.
I hear people say that all the time. I think sometimes we do that when we jump all the way to Egypt. And we just overlook those black Africans who were enslaved.
But y'all, can we agree that Egypt is Africa?
Well, it definitely is in Africa, but also can we agree that Egypt had slaves? Yeah. I mean, y'all gonna have to excuse me, and I'm not saying that we didn't build all these great things, but I would think that the people who built those pyramids was not the pharaoh. I would think the people who built the pyramids were enslaved people, because slavery has been a part of human history, period. Because we've always had some people who feel like they don't have to do nothing but boss other people around. So I know that sounds kind of different, but I don't think nobody wants to be enslaved to anybody. Like, I don't even want to be a slave to their job, but they got to pay their bills. Like, you know what I mean? There's different levels of it, maybe.
Yeah,
but I don't
think anybody.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody really wants to be enslaved.
No.
So a young person asked me a question yesterday. This is for y'all. Somebody asked me, can a person really be a healer, a preacher, a coach, anything that has to do with making people well, and hate their parents?
Yeah.
Young people always give me these questions. I'm just start giving them to other people, because it's too much for me.
Yeah, but if you, how you do that?
Good morning, Sister Sarah. Oh, sorry.
How can you do that?
I'm asking you. Do you think it's possible?
How can you? No, I'm going through the process in my mind out loud. How can you be all of those things and hate the people that help usher you onto the planet, or in this realm, on this physical plane?
I don't know. I talk to young people, so I was trying to, like, peace, Brother Imhotep. I was trying to have I was really trying to like answer the question in a beautiful way.
How did you answer it, bro? Because I know in your mind you was thinking, because I would be thinking, dang, how you do that?
My immediate response was no. Then I had to take that back. I didn't say it out loud in my mind. I was like, no. But then I feel like sometimes the Creator gives you gifts and then you can help somebody. But I also feel like, because you don't have to be well to help people. That's like saying you don't have to be a genius to go get somebody some water if they're thirsty. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
But I also feel like in our society, I think we do have a lot of people who are not in love with their parents, and then they're helping people. And I feel like maybe, I don't know about saying in love or love their parents.
Maybe that's a part of their therapy.
I feel like the Creator will keep giving you things that you have to work on.
He definitely.
That's what I personally think. So I was trying to.
Yeah.
It just kind of, it's so not like a yes or no answer, but I think part of it is that's a part of the journey. But I do think if you want to be an effective healer, you know what I mean. That's like me administering something to somebody, and it's like me giving you open heart surgery, and I need open heart surgery.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how effective I could be, in really being a healer for real.
But it's kind of like, okay, so when we talk about, well, how could you be a marriage counselor if you've never been married?
Hello.
Well, or how could you be a drug counselor if you've never been on drugs or you never had an addiction? So I feel like maybe you possibly can do that, because if you went through the fire, you can't tell nobody about the fire unless you went through it, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know. I mean,
that's a deep question, bro.
That kind of left me kind of speechless, because I feel what they were saying, but I just was like, this is so not a yes or no issue.
Right.
And then I also think sometimes, because I used to work at the Birthday Project and we used to have a lot of volunteers, and there would be people wanting to come in and help young people, but they were crazy. Like, you know, they was like, because people usually who need help want to help. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like people who really, you know, we want to help folks, sometimes they do it because they need help, because something happened to them and nobody was there to help them.
Okay, so you're making me think about how people say, people have always said to me, like, when you're going through something, you're going through a trial, it's best to not coop up in the house and be depressed. Go out and give service. Go out and do some community service. So I'm wondering, is that the same concept? Maybe is it therapeutic?
That's a good question.
It depends on how crazy you are, though. Because certain kind of crazy you don't want crazy.
So let me just be honest. So I think I do such good work with girls and women in particular, because I really love my mom. I love all of my four mothers, because I'm such a recipient of who all of them have been. My deaf and mute grandmother on my mom's side, and mainly on my mother's side, honestly, because I know them the most. I know their history. I mean, I feel like I am them, you know. And so I really, really love them. I can have undying love for black women in particular, and black girls, because I know what I was like as a black girl. I mean, I just have this, like, I can just keep rolling with you. I really struggle with working with black men because of my own upbringing and my dislike for my dad at one period in my life, because he was not a good man. And so what I did on purpose, because I do come from the rule of don't, if you know you can't do something, be honest about it and pass people to somebody who probably can help them. Every time somebody would bring a young man to me, I will on purposely refer them to somebody else. Like I would be nice to them, because I've always had to be nice kind of thing. But I'd be like, oh, this is a young man you could work with. But so what the Creator will do, at least for me, because you know, I'm a work in progress.
I definitely am a work in progress.
The Creator sent me my nephew, who helped me to understand how black men are developed. And I spent a lot of time with him. I was there when he was born. I mean, the whole thing. I really love my nephew. And I think that's what helped me to soften my heart with black men in particular. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
And so I'm not like, I still don't want to do counseling with boys and men, but at least I can like see them in a different, like I did enough work to when I'm really trying to, when the Creator's sending them to me, because I also get like a lot of men and boys sent to me to do work or whatever, I'm very nice at not trying to ruin them, but make sure I pass them off to the right person.
Right. Okay.
Not just any man. I would just send them to any man. Yeah, go over there to them. But I'd be like, no, let me think of some brothers that can really work with you, and not just send them to the first black man I see coming, and then that person really wasn't a good person. It's like sending your son to a pimp, and then ask him to make him a man. Like, I will not do that. I won't refer people to pimps. I won't ex-pimp. I just don't. So for me, it's kind of like I want to refer them to a man that's upright and that's really good at what he does and who loves and who can teach this young man to have compassion and to be strong. And like I had to learn those things. So part of my answer is I feel like it's not a yes or a no, but it's kind of like I think you can't be an effective healer if you're running around wanting people to remember that I taught you that. Like, you know, I never tell young people.
I don't know. How does that even come into
But some people who are healers always say, I'm the one. Remember that. I'm your teacher. Like, you know, if I refer to you as my teacher, I've seen that before, too.
Right, but that's another kind of problem that the person has. So that's kind of like, no.
But I'm just saying, like, I feel like that's that need instead of, like, really saying, like, you know, like, because what I'm teaching you, somebody taught me. So I really, all I'm doing is passing on to you that was passed on to me, but I didn't invent it.
Right, I'm just sharing.
So basically. I feel like, but that's a part of when you haven't been coddled. And I'm using the mother thing because I can see that so clear. When I'm dealing with black men who don't have good relationship with their moms, I can almost tell. Because they don't know how to, be nurturing. Mm. They don't know how to, they don't know how to sit and really hear you, or, it's just some kind of, it's like meeting a man who has tremendous respect for his mom. Like, wow, that's beautiful. I see that with Brother Keon. Brother Keon has such good patience and really, because, we get in debates and be like, ugh. He never once was like, I'm done on you. He'd be like, all right, sis, wait a minute. He never, but I also see how he loves his mother. He loves his mom. And so it's like, okay, this brother here is a great example. There are times he could be like, well, you really own one. But he just was like, all right, sis, well, wait a minute. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I think it's also important as mothers that we instill that into our sons. You get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people always tell me that I'm very hard on my son. But like I always say, when I look at my son, I'm thinking about his wife and my grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? And then what the community is going to look like with him being one of the community leaders. So that's how I talk to him. And I have to be firm with him on that, And so, and who knows what is going to come of him. When I talk to my daughter and deal with my daughter, I always think about all of the offsprings that are going to come after her. So when I talk to her, I think about my granddaughter and my granddaughter's children, right? You know what I'm saying?
I get that.
So, because it's kind of deeper than just that moment and just that space and time of which you're talking to them on, because I always think about, I don't know, I guess because my mom was like that. My mom, she didn't talk to you just for the moment. It's kind of like a conversation at the round table with her was like a conversation for the lifetime. Like, it's going to carry you through. You know what I'm saying? A couple generations. And I just feel like, when you're raising children, you really have to think about all of those people that those children that you're raising are going to affect. And then you adjust the way you talk to them.
So who do you think is responsible for what
you're lucky you could do that. I can't invite nobody. I just been sharing. Well, I just been sharing, but it's usually you can invite certain people. And
so let me ask you this: who do you think, since you're a mother of a son, who do you think then is
and a daughter?
And a daughter. But I'm saying right now, I'm focusing on the males. So you put that up, so I think that's important. Who do you think is responsible for the black men, for the emotional? I have to use that word too. For the black boys that we're seeing now in our society that are very emotional, very I got in the class yesterday, the young people were telling me that black boys are saying to them, I don't date black girls, I don't date dark skins, I was like, they say that to y'all face. So who do you think is responsible for their development and being able to say those kind of things to them?
Well, I would have to say, I think of course the mother and the father, right? But especially, I would have to say the mother and the father. But also, I would have to say society.
I get the society piece, but here's what I know about that. And that's real. I think that's like the third rail. But when a child comes into the world, they don't come into the world through society. They come into the world through the womb.
You're right.
And all the development that you learn, how you see, how you speak, how you hear, how you take, you have to learn that first before you can even get out there like that.
Mm-hmm. So in that case, and I get what you're saying,
I get that. I think that social media and all that stuff, definitely, I'm not leaving them out.
Right.
But I feel like the black folks, when we get to there, then there's no responsibility on us as
no.
as nurturers, as providers, as maintainers. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I get it. I would have to say it comes from the parents, the mother and the father. You know, what do they see? What you know? I hate to say this, but you know, a lot of our young men come from broken homes. You know, so maybe the mom and the mother and father is not together more so than they are together. You know, so I think that our young boys probably look at you know, what their parents are gravitating towards. You know, my son, I always take personal offense if my son is not uplifting the young black girls. So, you know, I always tease him and say, son, I found you a wife today. You know, and I tease him about that. But, you know, my son happens to like Asian and Latino girls. I noticed that he gravitates towards them. And so I always talk to him about that, and I kind of take personal offense to it. You know, not that I have anything against Asian and Latino girls, but if your first example of a woman is me, then, you know, what's the problem? What's the problem? And so we had a candid conversation about it, and he told me that he was like, Mom, of course I love black girls. I love black women. You know, I love all girls. That's his general response. I love all girls. But he will say, he has said to me before, well, black women do too much, that we're loud. And I'm like, oh, okay.
But are you loud?
But, you know, I can get loud.
So, because his first example
is me.
Is you.
So I can get loud. But I try to, and I'm more cognizant of the way I talk to him, because I don't ever want to emasculate him.
How do we do that?
I think sometimes out of anger we have.
How do you emasculate somebody?
How do you emasculate? Yeah. Okay.
A boy. No, honestly. I
no, bro. I know where you're going.
How do we do that?
Well, ideally, you would think that it would be impossible for you to emasculate a man, right? Because they would be so strong in their manhood. But I think, though, with our tongue, I think a woman with her tongue can definitely emasculate a man. So I always try to be cognizant of the way I talk to him. You know,
he's saying emasculate a man or emasculate a black man. Because I've never met a white man that I could emasculate. I just
because I've been
around a lot of them, but I just never. I've had that example one time when I got in an argument with somebody I was with that was not black, and when I said what I said, did I mess with your manhood? And he looked at me and started. He said, I was raised by a mother and a father. Like, you can never do that to me. So you're just saying as
I don't
black
think
boys?
That's true. I don't think I get what you're saying, and I get that it will probably be more difficult to emasculate a white man. But I definitely, me working in corporate America since I was like 17 years old, there are times where they feel threatened. Just, you know, like, for example, I have been looked at as being an aggressive black woman instead of just an assertive woman.
But that because you were black? Because white women can be aggressive, but they're called having zealous and not zealous, having I forgot the word, but it's like they're being go-getters, or, you know, they're outspoken instead of being loud.
Right, but you don't have to be loud in order to be strong.
But white women can be loud, but that's called speaking up for yourself.
That's true, but I would have to say that black women, sometimes we get a bad rap. Like, that white woman may be just called, oh, okay, she's assertive. Whereas me, with all my strength and my rhythm, I'm aggressive. I'm seen as an aggressive black woman. Or I have been seen as an aggressive black woman. And it used to really be an issue for me. You know, especially trying to climb up the corporate ladder, it would be an issue for me. And then, you know, having certain relationships, I've had many different supervisors over my 29 years, right? it used to be an issue for me. Now it's not so much of an issue for me because I'm more after building in my community than I am trying to climb up that ladder. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
You know, my son is 16 now. You know, my family is just getting smaller and smaller. And so that need, you know, to make that money and go to this level and make that money is not really there.
So let me ask you this. This is not because I'm listening to what you're saying. So when you just said all that you're saying, do you think there could be a hint of anti-blackness in your son?
It could be if he sees black women.
Oh, so you said black women. So from you said he sees some. Or
well, he said sometimes black girls do too much, and then I had to take. So first, I took it personally, is what I was saying. First, I took it personally because I'm your idea of a black woman, and then I had to think about it. Okay, yeah, he's probably seen me aggressive a time or two, right? I've had to get aggressive. People always say, "Oh, Dana, you so sweet, you so sweet." Yeah, okay, I got another side. Yeah. When aggressed upon, you may not recognize me, but I would have to be aggressed upon. But then I had to think about the school he was at this time. He was in middle school at this time, and then I had to think about the black girls that was at his school at the time. I could kind of see how he came up with that assessment, though. You know what I mean? So coupled with the times that he's seen me get loud, and he's seen how, you know, certain things I'm not compromising with as far as the way I parent, right? And then sometimes I've had to overcompensate for certain things. And then coupled with the black girls that he was around, you know, at his middle school, I could kind of see that, you know. And so what I've done to try to counteract that is to make sure that I keep him around black people and, well, of course, brown black people because we live in the hood. But black people doing things and community building. So it's like where, you know, some boys his age are, you know, they out kicking it and stuff like that, and that's just not his reality. You know, he's always with me. We either, you know, we're community building.
I get you.
And so I try to expose him to positive images of other black women, and I also try to be cognizant of, you know, kind of the way I'm talking. So we have this thing now. Mom, when you get upset, you know, like me, when I feel myself getting upset and say we're getting ready to go somewhere, he's lagging or whatever, I try to really not yell at him. You know, I try not to do that. And so really, literally, I have to do that because I want him to be and to marry. I want him to be with and marry a black woman. Whether or not I could really control that or that happens, you know, of course I can't control it, but I definitely am going to encourage it.
So let me say this. So for instance, so I heard you say your son, you seen the black girls being out. So what I know to be true is that may have something to do with a frequency, because I also know there's probably some black girls being quiet that people don't see. I also know we have Asian girls and Latino girls especially who are just as loud as black girls. But for some reason we don't see them. And so I think some of it is, and I'm not negating anything you're saying, but sometimes it just puzzles me how we put this magnifying glass on black people for stuff, and then we give everybody else a clean ride.
Well, I wasn't trying to give nobody else a clean ride.
But listen, I'm saying, I get that. I just want you to, because I challenge young people like that all the time. Like yesterday when the young man said, you know, like he said the same, he said, black girls do too much. And I'm saying to myself, so, because I know the school he goes to, and I'm like, I see a lot of Latino girls just as loud as black girls. Do you not see them? Then he kind of had to pause his position a little bit. I said, I can see if he say the black girls I've been around. And that means that that's something about you and your environment. Because I know there's black girls who do the right thing and they don't get any love.
Matter of fact, they're invisible, like you said.
Right.
Like
so my thing is like, I feel that's why I threw that anti-blackness out there, because I think black folks we gotta own our stuff. We gotta own that we can't expect white people to respect us if we're not respecting us. It's kind of like I don't do well with inferior people, so I don't gravitate towards people who, you know, is always like in the pit down or this person's better than me. I get away from those people quick,
right?
Because I feel like I don't have time for that energy. That's just too much work. And so I feel like. I don't know. I get the thing with society, but I also think sometimes we have men, because when I hear people say that black girls are doing too much, it's like they're supposed to not do anything. Right. What does that mean?
Right.
And when white girls come out wearing box braids, you don't say they doing too much. You just kind of say, well, that's different. She got the same thing the black girl got.
Yeah.
Why she don't get that label?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to black people. My thing is that I'm not concerned what other people think. I'm really not.
Yeah.
I'm concerned with the group that I belong to immediately.
Right.
And I feel like somebody has to challenge us to like when I see a girl who says she's loud, like she's outspoken. She has to learn how to, like, you know.
Yeah.
I learned that from a black educator when I was in a parent meeting. She shut this one teacher down because he kept trying to say her granddaughter was like loud or whatever, and she was breaking it, and then she made him eat his words, and he changed it. There was a parent conference. I was like, "Who is this sister?" You know, because she was using them words, as they say. But I also feel like we gotta really look at how we see things and how we allow things to ride. Like, I don't buy I get that the media thing. It's like going to the doctors and telling the doctor you have a cold, but you don't believe it until he diagnosed you. Like, dude, you already knew you had a cold.
Right.
So I feel like young people are so brilliant that if we challenge them to say, you mean to tell me there ain't no other black girls in there that ain't loud?
Right.
You mean to tell me that for real, bruh? And they're like, well, I mean, the ones I'm attracted to. Okay, I'll take that.
Okay, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
because I know that there's black girls that get overlooked all the time. Because maybe she ain't got the right shoes on. Maybe she ain't got the right hair weave. Because sometimes we be into things that, you know, black girls don't be having sometimes.
Right.
Like the weave down the back. Right. Or just say, hey, you know, I want to be with Mexican and Asians. Just say that. I could take that.
Yeah.
Just say, I don't like black girls. You know, I don't like my mama. I could take that. But please don't act like there's something wrong with me because there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
I tell black men all the time, like, you don't get the boo-boo on me, baby. I'm sorry. You don't get to do that to me. And they'll be like, all right, yeah, don't. You ain't got to put me down.
Right.
Shit, I'm your sister. You know, I'm going to rock with you either or, but you don't get to do that to me. I think that's a learned behavior. There's nothing against you. I just feel like sometimes if we knew the sacrifices that our moms made for us.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Most of us wouldn't really be here.
Yeah.
That's number one. If they had a choice on some stuff, hold on, I'm going to go to this room. I'm sorry, y'all making comments. I'm so sorry. So first I'm going to get some shout outs. Sharon, Vet, what's up, Vet? Somebody said, I love you so much, Dana. This is Vet, Candy.
Hi.
My cousin Sharon, what up, cuz? How you doing? How's Philly? No, I love y'all. So we got some comments up in here.
Oh my God.
Somebody
he said, tell my sis, stop getting her narratives. All right, brother, you said
seen and be heard. Okay, let's see. Sorry. Okay, so that thing about seen, sorry, seen and be heard. Let's see. And then my sister, called Bronze Girl. Sorry. You're so right. Black girls seem to be more easy identified. That is so true. Hold on, I'm trying to get this thing to move up. My screen is tripping and my thing is frozen. But I'm with you, sis, about the same behavior. And I'm a retired HR professional. I'm sorry, I can't read the next thing because my thing is kind of... But I agree with that. I just feel like sometimes when we have... Could you read yours?
Jermaine Moore said he loved this conversation. Brother Yusef said our screen keep freezing.
I don't know. Mine's too, bro. I don't know, bro. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're going to try to figure it out.
We is. And this is our Sunday morning conversation.
Every Sunday. And this is what we use. We use these topics to prompt us, to warm us up for writing. Mm-hmm. And so we just figured like, we should go live with the conversation. So that's cool that y'all enjoying this.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I just feel like black folks, we just got to have some conversations with each other. And it don't mean, to be the only group that have to do disclaimers. I watch a lot of other cultures, and they never do disclaimers. They never say, well, everybody. Like, I only find black people saying that. I don't even hear white people saying that. They just be talking about their stuff like they are it. And everybody else just follows them. Mm. So I feel like we have to also, I think healing comes through talking through stuff.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't even realize we do that. Like, we don't even realize that we giving other people passes.
That's
you
true.
Know,
yeah, we don't realize
I think
it.
the one of the things on the Boondocks, it was these two brothers, they were fighting, and then they was in each other all the, and then they shot each other. And then the next scene was there's another brother, and then the white man steps on the shoe, and he was like, what you do that for? And he started getting all loud, and then first the white man got scared, and then he said, I'm white, I don't even have to pay attention to you. And he just walks off. And I was like, wow, that's kind of deep.
What was this?
That was it was on the Boondocks. It was one of their earlier shows.
Okay.
And I was like, that's sometimes what it's like to be in black culture when you're non-black. Mm-hmm. You could be like, I don't even have to roll with you people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get away with some stuff.
Right.
We know that in high school, in schools, black girls get harsher punishments than any other group of people. Any other group of girls. They get and black boys get suspended more than any other group. So we know that there's something, Kaisha could be over here doing something, and if Heather do it, they don't even see Heather, but they see Kaisha.
Yeah, they don't even see
It's kind of like they don't even want her to breathe.
Oh, prime example. And I know that my friend would not mind me sharing this story. She lives in Rockland. I'm not going to say her name, but if she watches, she'll know who I'm talking about. She lives in Rockland. My coworker, I worked with her for almost 15 years. Prime example, her son got caught red-handed stealing a car.
Wow.
Not only stealing the car, had a knife and had the radio out, I believe. I hope I'm not mistaken about the radio part. Guess what happened?
They sent him home.
The police took him home.
Wow, I was just kidding.
No, seriously.
Okay.
The police took him home. The person who he stole the car from did not press charges and gave him his knife back.
But why do you think that was, though?
Well, I just think that, my response to her about that story, that couldn't have went down in South Sac. It couldn't have went down in South Sac with people that look like me. But the fact that you guys are who you guys are, which I'm not mad at y'all, do that. But from the police down to the person who was offended, they looked out for their own. And they knew that record having that record of Grand Theft Auto and all that would not look favorable on that individual.
Wow.
And you know what? I'm going to tell y'all something. I know people that know me, my house got broken into, maybe like a couple years ago. And it was done by someone that went to the middle school that I live by. I'm not going to say his name. I'm just going to say he was in middle school. And I was like, I don't want to press charges. And what did he get? I think did he get a laptop? I'm trying to remember even what he get. It's so funny because that material stuff, you just start forgetting. I forgot what it was. And I did feel violated. But I thought about what happened with my friend over in Rockland and just how they all rocked with this little young boy. And so I found out the demographic of the young boy, how he went to middle school. His family life wasn't, what my son's family life is. And I didn't want to press charges. But anyway, I guess, and so I told them that. I told the authorities and the investigator that came out to interview me and stuff like that. And I just got an alarm system. But anyway, I guess whatever the equivalent for the district attorney for juvenile court, they picked up the case anyway. And I just thought that was like, they didn't pick up the case anyway in Rockland. That's something,
Yeah, I think that's about a value, though. Like, I feel like in a lot of instances, we're still seen as subhuman. I always try to remember, this is just my truth. I still think that black people are seen as evidence of a crime scene. We're like evidence of something horrific that happens. So in slavery we weren't even seen as human beings.
All right.
That's why you. That's
All
why
right,
you,
Thomas Jefferson.
That's why you can never overlook that slavery period. I love when the Jews say never forget the Holocaust. We must never forget slavery.
Yeah.
And I think the moment we keep forgetting, that's when we get these reminders. Mm-hmm. That you are not human. Like, no, your son is going to jail. We need to lock all these people up anyway. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like we got to remember that. And it's not to remember to feel bad. It's to remember to feel empowered. Right. You know what I mean? So you know what we're dealing with. We know that the police are the patty rollers. We know that. At least some of us, I would hope to think, know that.
Right.
And how that whole thing got started. They even still have the same star that they used when they was patty rollers. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just feel
they didn't even change the...
No. But I feel like that has something to do with us not teaching our children that history, which is why we keep suffering.
Right.
Does that make sense? And
that makes a lot of sense.
I'm not making up excuses. I'm just saying I think that we owe it to ourselves to remember that. And to, it's kind of like I always say, nobody has it like black people in America. No one, first of all, we're not immigrants. We did not come here as immigrants. We came here as prisoners of war, as some people call it. We came here as enslaved people against our will. I don't say slaves, I say enslaved, because there's a difference between the two. And what does that really mean? So we didn't get to keep language. We didn't get to keep anything. We're stripped of everything that was culturally identified. But we're so brilliant. We still create it because we create all the time.
Yeah.
Even we don't
made up words.
Right. We do hand slaps. You know how we gonna get that in.
We made up words.
We do it all the time. And so I feel like, but when we don't teach our kids to be proud. And to stop cutting our kids off from our ancestors and our elders and stop cutting them off. Quit acting like it's just about the youth. When people say that, I almost feel like they're predators. Because no other group does that. No other group just get at young people over the folks. Are you crazy?
Yeah, we do need a bridge between our young people and our elders.
Because the truth of the matter is they're going to get that same lesson over and over again until we get it.
Yeah.
We have to wait. The powers that be love worshiping their ancestors. They own the money. If you ever been, their statues are everywhere. Mm-hmm. Even the crazy ones got statues. Right. And we'll be sitting up here like, well, our stuff is different than y'all. So it's the same stuff, different day.
Right.
If you got a system that works, why would you replace it?
Right.
And so I feel like we gotta I don't know, I see some stuff and immediately I know that, wow, somebody didn't tell us something.
Right.
Because we wouldn't be going through this.
Right.
We look at all this killing. We've been killing each other. This ain't nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the 80s. I tell y'all, hey, we got the YouTube. You can research anything you want on the YouTube.
Right.
I mean, you can figure out how to make whatever you want to make on the YouTube. So go back and look at those 80s. Go back and look at you can go back and look at the 60s. Because that's kind of where that kind of all the gang violence started rolling out. But if you look at the history of that, go rent Bastards of the Party. Watch that film. Great, brother. I love when we start to do documentaries that help us to understand culture. I think there's nothing wrong with learning from the pyramids and all that kind. I'm nothing against that stuff, I swear to God. But I just feel like if we don't teach people what we're seeing at this moment and how I think we have to come up with a way of killing this beast that lives in our head that turns into anti-blackness. We got to figure out how do we keep lifting each other up? How do we say, hey, I love when Keon says, peace, queen, peace, king. I love that.
Me too.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
That just makes me feel so good. Even if I'm having a messed up day, my back gets straight.
Yeah, your back. You do
kind
of
my crown kind of
you do kind of straighten up.
Yeah,
you do kind of straighten up.
There's something beautiful about that.
Right.
I'm a smiler. So I tend to smile at people. And even if the sister got an attitude,
speak to everybody.
Yeah, even if the sister got an attitude, she'll smile back. She'll be like, oh, hey sis, I like your earrings. And I got to compliment you or something.
Me too.
And then they be like, oh, thank you. I feel like we gotta do that,
right?
Because we're in battle mentally, we're in battle physically, there's just battles going on. But I think some of these battles we can conquer. My mom used to say, I don't care if I got a dime in my pocket, I'm gonna always keep my head up. I can always saying hello to people don't cost me a thing.
Right.
So we see a brother or sister that's down, you can still say good morning.
Right.
You can still give a compliment. So I try to that to me is the real work. I think all of us are healers.
Right.
I don't care. I don't think you need no special piece of paper. You ain't got to go to seminary school. You ain't got. Hey, my mom. You know you could speak beauty into anybody's life. You can speak power into anybody's life. We do it every day.
Right.
I know I do it every day, and I'm dealing with some kids that be hardcore.
Right.
But I get into like, what's your name mean? One who brightens that one. And next thing you know, it's like, bam, they smiling.
Right.
Because most of us is missing that human contact.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, you know, I always say that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I know somebody said that first, so I didn't make it up and say, but I try to remember that.
Yeah.
Even when I'm looking for something, it's like, oh, I want to do so-and-so. Don't the person appear? I do that. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we got to work together immediately. I'm like, we
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, we got to do that.
And that's true. And that has happened to so many. That has happened to me so many times. Like, I'm like, you know what I want to do? Blah, 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 blah. I'll get a phone call. Bro, you have done that. So many people have done that for me. Like, they'll give me a call and be like, you know what? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, sis, you will answer to a prayer.
Well, y'all know that we are next to a church, and they probably get ready to start. Even though I ain't heard them drums go boom, 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 boom. But that's usually y'all like time. Like, okay, we cool. I first want to send some shout outs. I see Peace Denise. I love that picture with you and your mom that you posted on Facebook. Justice Simpson. Hey sis, how's mommyhood? How's your daughter? With her beautiful self. I'm so proud of y'all. Thank y'all all for all of your comments and you know, this is what we do. We just kind of get warmed up, just kind of talk. I said that and I can hear the piano kicking.
Yeah.
What's your final thought as we wrap this up? My time to be on it.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, your time is on it. Y'all, we getting ready to get into oh Lord. Oh, that's my Aunt Faye. I'm gonna have to call her back. Okay. We getting ready to get in our writing zone. And but I just want to say thank you for joining us this morning. This is so good for us. I think that talking through the different issues that we face is what's going to help us heal certain things. And also, we need to encourage each other into action. I think that what I would like to do is just encourage collaborations. Because we're going to need that level of unity in order to build on the level that we need to build. Like, we need to really increase that. And I just want to wish you peace and love, you know, and generational blessings to you and your family. I hope that you guys, whatever seeds you guys are planting for your offsprings, I hope that they grow and that they're nourished with all of your good intentions. And have a good day.
And I just want to say in my closing, as I channel our dear ancestor, the brother Marcus Garvey, up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. Yeah. Love y'all. See you next week.
All right, peace.
I'm gonna spill my damn thing.